Okay, we might get going then, in the interest of time and not to keep anybody later this evening. Thank you for joining us for tonight's open evening for the Postgraduate Certificate in Creative Thinking, Innovation and Entrepreneurship. My name is Jane Flanagan and I'm the Student Recruitment Officer at Tangent, Trinity's Ideas Workspace. And I am delighted to be joined tonight by Vicky McAvoy, my colleague, who is the program coordinator for this course and so has designed this course alongside the contributors, and also Jackie Breen, another colleague of mine who is a past student of the course and has also gone on to program manage on our courses here at Tangent. So thank you both for joining me this evening. So tonight is really about having a look at this course, the type of student that this course is for, a little bit about the course, but mostly about the application process, how you apply, what you need, and so on, and the importance of applying early. There'll be a chance to ask any questions that you may have towards the end. We'll hear a little bit about the course from Vicky as well and Jackie after I finish this short presentation. So yeah, keep your questions coming in if you have them, and we will get to them towards the end. Okay, so without further ado, I'll get going. So why create a course like this? Well, in 2016, the World Economic Forum predicted that 60% of the jobs in 2020 didn't exist yet. And in 2017, Dell predicted that 85% of the jobs in 2030 didn't exist yet. In 2018, the World Economic Forum, the Future of Jobs report predicted that by 2025, no less than 54% of all employees will require significant re- and upskilling. Critical thinking and problem solving top the list of skills that employers believe will grow in prominence in the next 5 years. And newly emerging this year are skills in self-management, such as active learning, resilience, stress tolerance, and flexibility. So there you can see the image popping in there of the top 10 skills in 2020 versus 2015, with complex problem solving topping the list still, followed by critical thinking, creativity, people management, and so on. And now we look at innovation and entrepreneurship at Trinity. So when we look at innovation, Trinity are the first in Europe for patent citations. We have 500 industry partnerships in the last 5 years, with 1 million plus in annual research income and 140 licenses in the last 5 years, secured in the last 5 years. When we look at entrepreneurship at Trinity, well, we're ranked first in Europe for graduate entrepreneurship. There are 100 campus companies that have generated 300 products and 1.4 billion in revenue. And there's 75 student companies in the last 5 years raising 5 million plus in investment. When we bring innovation and entrepreneurship together in Trinity, we imagine and identify new opportunities, we collaborate using the power of diversity, and we take action, really having a positive impact on the world. So who is this course for? Well, it's for graduates returning to the workplace, perhaps after a career break, individuals with a business idea or seeking to create their own employment opportunity, for individuals seeking a change in career direction, maybe looking to pivot in their roles, individuals seeking to expand their skills base with a view to returning to the workforce, and graduates or individuals in employment seeking continual professional development. So there are 3 modules to this course, and those are career pathways and returning to work, enterprise development, and opportunity generation and recognition. How does this program work? Well, it runs from the 27th of September this year, right through to the 9th of March next year. Oh, apologies, that's my typo, so that should say 22. But right up until March next year. It's delivered part-time, Monday mornings, Tuesdays and Wednesdays from 9:30 until 1:30 p.m. And the great news is that it's going to be in person. That is obviously subject to Trinity policy and government guidance and social distancing, but we do plan to have it in person again, which is great news because it has been online for the last 2 courses. So back in person, all things going well. Now, the teaching and learning styles on this course, well, it's very much adult experiential learning. There's workshops, masterclasses, group projects, presentations, pitches, Students will work in teams on industry-specific projects hosted by private or public enterprise partners. There are no exams, you'll be happy to hear. There will be reports, there will be reflections, there'll be presentations and case studies, maybe some multiple choice quizzes, and the peer-to-peer learning will also be a big factor on this course. So the learning outcomes to expect from this course. Well, you will develop an entrepreneurial mindset. You will apply creative problem-solving skills to challenges identified by industry. You will work in multidisciplinary teams. You will learn to recognize opportunities. You will develop a personal communication plan. You'll develop a professional online profile. You will learn how to plan and fund a venture. You will understand how to protect your ideas, so intellectual property, and add value to any employer with your innovative thinking. So really, again, it's experiential learning, learn by doing, industry-specific projects. You will tackle a real challenge for a real organization. We have worked with public, private, startups, multinationals, government, and cultural enterprises in the past, and continue to do so. You will learn to apply design thinking techniques in practice. You'll understand the iterative process, learning from failure and failing forward. And you'll look at skills such as teamwork, leadership, compromise, and persuasion. So here on this slide, we have just a sample of some of the industries that we have worked with in some sense or another over the last few years, and some big names coming up there, names that I think everybody can recognize, Dell and Google, Siemens, and so on. So who is eligible for this course? So I'll start by saying there's a whole host of eligibility criteria on the Springboard website, and it's really important to have a read through of that because you will need to meet the eligibility requirements to even have your application assessed. But on a high level, graduates who are in receipt of an eligible social welfare payment, for those that are self-employed or in employment, and if so, then you pay 10% of the course fee, which is €400 in this case. Those who have been a resident in the EU for at least 3 out of the last 5 years. For graduates who hold a level 8 qualification, so that's a level 8 honours bachelor's degree. And if you don't have that, you can apply as an RPL, recognition of prior learning, and those applications are assessed on a case-by-case basis. And then returners, those that are out of the workplace due to caring obligations and are now looking to upskill. And if so, they must sign a declaration document, and that is available on the springboardcourses.ie website. That must also be signed by a Commissioner of Oaths. So how to apply? Okay, so you must apply via Springboard, the springboardcourses.ie. All applications must come through there. And I think my colleague Hazel is going to pop a direct link into the chat box, which will bring you directly to this course. So the closing date for this course is the 27th of July. So it's really not very far away. And I cannot stress how important it is to get your application in as soon as possible. There's 6 documents required for your application. The first one, the expression of interest or a statement of interest. That's approximately 500 words. And that should look to why you want to do the course, what you hope to get out of the course, maybe why you think you'd be a good fit for this course. And then followed by a curriculum vitae, about 2 pages approximately, that details your skills and experience and maybe how they align with the course content. We need a copy of that level 8 honours degree, if you do have it, or at least your highest qualification. The eligibility details, so again, that will show if you're in employment or if you're on a social welfare payment, a document that supports that. And then if you are applying as an RPL, then we need something to show that, as I say, your recognition of prior learning. You can state it in your statement of interest, or you can upload your highest qualification, which can be anything, you know, even your leaving cert or your junior cert if you don't have anything higher, but whatever your highest qualification may be. And then finally, you need 2 written references. So it's important that those references are written. They should really recommend you for the course. They can't just be a name and a contact number. They must be written and they should be on headed paper. Okay, things to consider when you're applying to this course. Well, do you meet the eligibility requirements? That's very important. The schedule, does it work for you? So we ask that you be there 100% of the time because there is a lot of group work. As I said, it's going to be a very active course, but it's also a Springboard requirement to be there at least 80% of the time. So there's a timetable up on the Tangent website. And again, we'll pop a link into the chat for you to go and have a look at the Tangent website where you can find more information on the course. But do have a look at that and make sure that you are going to be able to attend. So the time commitment, do you have childcare or other obligations? Travel times and travel costs do come in again, because as we said, this is going to be in person this year. So we are based on the Trinity campus. So you need to be coming in and out of town 3 days a week. Is your employer supportive? And finally, this is a postgraduate level academic program. So there will be report writing, presentations, teamwork, etc. So just be prepared for that as well. And that is it from me. So if you have queries that you want to ask here this evening, or if you find that you go away and never think about it, and you have a query thereafter, do email springboard@tcd.ie. That will bring you directly through to me, and I can answer any queries you may have. There is also an FAQ, automatic email that will go back to you, and there's a whole host of questions on that I have been asked in the past, and all answers are there. You can have a read through of that. Log on to springboardcourses.ie to apply directly to this course, and again, that closing date, nice and big in red capitals, it's the 27th of July 2021. So do try to get that application in as soon as possible. So that's really it from me for now. I'm going to hand you over to Vicky McAvoy now and to Jackie Breen to talk a little about the course in more detail. And again, if you have questions, do pop them in the chat and we'll hopefully get to them this evening. Or as I said, you can email me.
Thank you so much, Jane. And just before I forget, Hazel, our marketing guru, Hazel, you have a document of hints and tips, don't you, for potential students? So I don't know if you want to speak about that at the end, or if you'd like to put a link into the chat. And if I see the link in the chat, I'll know you've done it. If not, I'll come to you at the end. So everyone who's here and anyone who's watching, you're very, very welcome. This is a very unusual program. It is the only one like it in the country. And when I say that, I know we have a lot of level 9 programs, even within Tangent, but this is the only one in the entire country that is aimed specifically at returners. You don't have to be a returner to do the program, but if you are, we have additional supports that will help you through your journey. So some of those supports would be, I've written them down here, and some of those supports would be mentoring, so you can have group mentoring, and Jackie, who I'm going to introduce to you in a moment, is one of our mentors. We have individual mentoring as well. We have additional workshops, like academic writing, reflective writing, and there are sessions on career development and really career planning. There are a lot of additional things on this program that you're not going to get even on our other programs within Tangent, and certainly not elsewhere. So it's a really well supported program. But the best person to explain their experience on the program is my colleague and friend, Jackie Breen, who is a past student and also works very closely with me on this program. So you're very welcome, Jackie.
Thanks so much, Vicky.
So Jackie, I have a couple of questions, and these questions really are on maybe where you were when you first applied for the program, and how you found the program, and maybe how your experience on the program has changed your outlook or what you want to do in the future. So just small questions. So we'll go with the first one. So Jackie, what made this course attractive to you at the time that you applied?
Thanks, Vicky. If my internet gets unstable, I'll jump on my phone. I just got a sign there. Sometimes it lets you down at the very moment you don't want it to. Why did I decide to do the course? I decided to do it because I had given up my full-time job, a job that I had been in about 15 years. So I had given it up for childcare responsibilities. And then they were just getting a little bit older then, and I was going to go back into the workforce. And I thought, I felt like I had been out about 15 years, not like 3 or 4 years. And what I found is that, employers didn't mind you having a gap in your CV, but they really wanted to know, that, what had you done to keep up to date, and how do they know they were going, how could they have confidence in you, you know, taking you on after your you know, your few gap years. So I saw the springboard, and actually the way it happened for me was, I think the application date was about a week or 10 days ahead of me, you know. So when I saw it, I thought, I've no time at all to get this application in. But there was something about the description of the course that, you know, when I had been doing some interviews, there was innovation was mentioned, diversity, creativity, pivoting, all of collaboration, all of these terms that really weren't part of my vocabulary at all, even though I hadn't been out of the workplace, you know, that long. And what I found was that, you know, employers wanted somebody to work with them, not work for them. So I knew things had changed, so that I would have to change as well. So the course description, I went to something where I could hear one of those open nights where, you know, there were some people that had done the course before me, spoke so positively about it. I said that I just have to try and get my application in and see, even could I scrape in as one of the last applicants. So when Jane was mentioning there about all of the documentation that you need to fill in, I was thinking, did I fill in all of that documentation? It sounds so cumbersome. So if you're on and you're thinking that, I mean, please don't let that, you know, stop you applying, because even though it sounds like a lot, you actually gather them very quickly, you know, the different bits and pieces, couple of references. I mean, if you know, you can get one from the Parents Association, maybe if you've been out of work a good while, you know, for example, and you know, you didn't have any voluntary work or something like that you could go for a reference. So I would say, don't worry about the administration side of things, or if you don't have a degree. Some of the best people that were on the course when I was doing it were the people that came in as a recognition of prior learning, because they had so much hands-on experience. So I would definitely say, if you're here tonight and you're half interested at all, to talk to Jane and start getting your documentation together. It's really not cumbersome once you start it. Did I answer the question, Vicky?
You definitely answered it wonderfully, Jackie. And Jackie, how did you find the workload of the course? Because it is an intense course. We always say that at the very beginning, and I don't think students realize it until they're halfway through and they realize, oh, there is a lot here. Could you maybe tell us a little bit about how you found the workload?
Yeah, I definitely didn't get the memo about the workload, because I remember when I was doing it, I think it was maybe 2 full days. And I had lunch dates planned for the first week. And I thought, this is great. I'm going to be in Dublin. I'm going to meet people for lunch, you know, these 2 days that I'm going to be in Dublin. I met nobody for lunch, I can tell you, throughout the whole course, because the workload is quite intense. Now, it's not the same as if you're at school, because there's so much experiential learning and so much teamwork. So the people that were on the course, I mean, you had your lunch together often, because you know, you're meeting so many different people and you're all like-minded, and you're either working on a project maybe over lunch so that you know, can prepare for a presentation, or you're talking to somebody about their experience, or there might be a guest lecturer in on that day and they stay on a little bit after their lecture, and you're meeting them, you know, and talk to them during lunch. So there's so much, it is full on. So it's definitely not a case of there's no homework. I mean, you will be meeting with the people that you're on the course with outside of the core hours at certain times when it comes to you know, when there's a presentation coming up. Now, I have 3 kids, and they were like maybe 3, 5 and a little bit older when I was doing it, and it was manageable, absolutely manageable, no problem there. But don't just think it's the 9 to 1 or whatever the course timetable says, and that outside of that you have nothing to do. It's not like study as you might be used to, but it's certainly work that needs to be done.
Thanks, Jackie. And Jackie, what is one piece of learning that you took away from doing the course?
Well, there's so much, and it actually comes in different waves. I mean, when you're doing the course, there's things that are immediately useful to you, and then later on, as you're, you know, testing the waters, maybe about your own ideas, there's other things that come back to you. But I suppose one key thing for me is that to look on yourself as a business of one. Like, don't just look at yourself as somebody who is, you know, going back into the workforce, or and or even just changing your mind or pivoting in your career, because about half of the people on the course, I think, were people who had at least part-time jobs, so they weren't all returners. So there's a great mix and a great, you know, bunch of people to network with. But to look on yourself as a business one and take yourself seriously, find out what is it that I want to do as my business going forward. You know, what problems can I solve for other people? How am I going to communicate that to them? You know, how am I going to find people who are going to hire me to do what it is that I want to do? Or do I need to set up my own business and provide that service? Whatever it is, but take yourself very seriously and equip yourself to you know, to make your business of one a success. That, I think, kind of stood out to me, and you know, I still work by that.
Thanks. And finally, Jackie, what advice would you give to a prospective student?
Well, I mean, the fact that it's a Springboard funded course, let's put it like that first and foremost. I mean, to get something that's 90% funded or even 100% funded is just an amazing opportunity. To get something like that that's available at a college like Trinity College is just fantastic. And you do get to experience college life. You know, it's not just that you're kind of tucked away in another unit. You do get to experience what it's like to be a Trinity student. And then after that, I mean, the particular area, the tangent, Trinity's ideas workspace, they take that very seriously. And I mean, the program coordinators, the lecturers that come in, the guest lecturers, and the ones that are there more regularly, their main focus of their job is to make sure that they give the students a really good experience. And that is like from day one. So, you know, when you have so many people that are invested in your success, it's very difficult not to be bitten by the bug yourself and want to be a success as a student and to give it your all. So, I mean, across the board, people gave it their heart and souls while they were doing it. And I suppose that is what I would encourage you to do, is to give it your all if you sign up to it, and to know that you will definitely be getting a lot out of it.
Thank you so much, Jackie. So I suppose now is a good opportunity to open up the floor if there are any questions. So if you want to ask a question, there are two ways that you can do it. So I'm not sure if you're used to Zoom, but there is a chat function, and you should see it if you hover over the bottom of the menu, you should see chat, and you can type in your question, or if you feel a bit more confident, you can come on mic. Again, cameras are optional, it's completely up to you if you would like to ask a question. So while we're waiting for some questions to come in, because sometimes we have lots, sometimes we don't have many, I'd hope that we've answered all your questions if there are none coming in. But just to pick up on one of the things that Jackie said, this program can be absolutely transformational to your life, and it very much depends on where you are and what you're looking for and what you're willing to put into it. But if you've ever come across change or transformational change, there are three kinds of change. There's incremental, there is transitional, and there is transformational. So incremental will be those little changes that might change how you're thinking, and maybe you're queuing for coffee and you get a light bulb moment because something you've covered in class. And so it impacts your life in much smaller pieces. Transitional will be that it might put you on a new career path or a new track because it's been a little bit more impactful in your life. And transformational, it completely changes where you are. It might be that it launches your business, you completely change your life. And that is very little to do with us. It's about what you're bringing to the table and about what you're doing. And more so than any program I've taught on or worked on before, I've had more students from this program come to me, email me, speak to me afterwards or towards the end of the program, telling me that they have never done a program like it. I can't take credit for that because it's all their own hard work and how they're working with their peers. So enough of me talking. I'm going to just see if there are any questions coming in. So I have one question here. So I have some creative skills. I'm looking for a way to harness that and create some kind of work opportunity for it. Will this course help me to do that? I'm willing to work hard and invest in this process. Yes, it definitely will. So we have students coming in from all backgrounds. Some might be accountants or work in construction. Some might be artists or be creative. They might identify themselves as being creative. So we provide the foundation of creative thinking. So that might be thinking creatively about something that is creative, or applying creative thinking skills to other areas. And you're going to be matched up with different groups. You're going to be working on opportunities with external host companies. And so if you have a particular skill set and if you have an idea, there's definitely the opportunity to develop that idea out. So I'm hoping I'm answering this question. So just to give you an idea of the structure of the course. So module 1 is, we call it career pathways, but it provides the foundation of creative thinking, design thinking, and innovation theories. And you will be put into a group and you will work on a host project for an external host company. Then, so you have foundation in module 1. Module 2 is opportunity generation and recognition. So that is where, if you already have an idea or you're not sure what your idea is going to be, you, in different exercises in class and homework that you have, you will be able to identify a potential opportunity that maybe meets with the skills you already have or the expertise, and you will be given an opportunity to develop that, and you will further develop it in module 3 in enterprise development. And that's where you are, you're not creating a business plan, but you have everything you will need for a business plan, if that makes sense. So you're brought along that journey. So if you have an idea coming in, fantastic. If you don't worry about it. You will get there at different points throughout the program. So I hope that answers your question.
And do you know what? I could add to that, Vicky, as well, because just from the experience of some of the people that were on the course with us, you know, what you're taught in the first module, and actually throughout each of the modules, you're given the tools and the techniques and the processes. So you're given the theory of what you need to know, but immediately you're asked to apply that in a practical situation, as you said. So straight away you're testing it. Do I know this? What questions, you know, what gaps in knowledge do I have? Can I put it to the test? And then in the second module, particularly if you have an idea, it's all about letting that idea go crazy and being really creative about it, you know, testing it, finding out if there's, you know, if you have customers, finding out whose problem might you be solving and things like that. And then you get into module 3. And I kind of tend to describe this module as that it takes, you know, a bit of the fun out of it at the beginning, but it's actually where you test your idea. You really then start to test. And I mean, you might decide at the end of it is that your idea is not a runner, but that is a success for you, because, you know, the sooner you realize that, the less money you spend on your ideas. So, you know, the sooner you decide, oh, this particular idea needs to be tweaked some way to make it a success, you know, you get an opportunity to do that in the module. And I mean, because everybody's working on the same thing, you get such fantastic feedback from your colleagues in the course. I mean, you know, I mean, you make friends for life if you want to, because I mean, I'm in constant contact, and I mean, you celebrate their wins and you're there for them if they, you know, if they try something and it doesn't work out, which is very often the case when you're starting your own business. You're there with them then to pick up the pieces as well, you know, and they dust themselves off and get on with it. But it really is that, as you said, you're taught the theory, the processes, and you get to put them into practice straight away. So you feel confident using them after the course. That's what I found as well.
Thank you so much, Jackie. I think you explained that really, really well, because again, I'm coming at this from one perspective because I'm on one side of things, and Jackie is coming from another side because you have done this course, you've done this program, and now you work on it. And anyone who's on the fence, you'll get to work frequently with the wonderful Jackie. Jackie is one of our mentors. So you would hopefully get to meet Jackie or one of our other wonderful mentors throughout each of the modules on this program, and she can lend you her expertise. So Hazel, did you have...
And that's interesting as well, Vicky. That's because you're never left on your own. You know, you have your mentors, you're pushed outside your comfort zone, but you're never thrown out over the edge. So you really are supported as well. And that's a very good point that you make, Vicky. Yeah. So sorry I interrupted you there. You're going to speak to Hazel.
No problem. I was going to say, Hazel, do you have something that you would like to share with participants, that hints and tips that we were discussing earlier?
Hi there, and best show my face rather than be a voice from the gods. So thank you for that, Jane, Jackie and Vicky, especially Jackie, your insights to what it's like on the ground, really, really useful. Yeah, thank you for that. So basically, just by way of a thank you for attending, and basically to get those creative juices flowing long after this call, hopefully I have some hints and tips in a document which I'll share with you after today's call. And it's actually authored by our head of education, Dr. Daniel Rogers, who has been instrumental in bringing this program about. And despite his title, the tips are really pragmatic and practical. So I will share those certainly after we finish up this evening.
Okay, so I see one more question coming in there from one of our attendees. And thank you firstly to Vicky and Jackie. And do you find that this course is confidence building for participants? What do you think of that, Jackie?
There's absolutely no doubt about it. However, we were told very early on in the course, and it kind of stuck with me as well, is that, you know, confidence is your payback for your courage. So to get the confidence, you have to have the courage to, first of all, you know, push yourself out of your comfort zone a little bit to sign up for the course. Then you're going to have to push yourself out of your comfort zone another little bit to maybe give a presentation. You're going to have to tell people if you have a business idea. So you're going to be vulnerable and tell them about the idea that you have. So you're going to need a lot of courage, but you're in a safe space. So that's not a big deal, but the payback is the confidence that you get. So while just the piece of paper that you get at your graduation day isn't going to inspire confidence in you or just automatically give you confidence, the whole journey which requires you to have a lot of courage and try new things, and the result is your increased confidence for sure.
Thank you, Jackie. And it's very much one of those courses that what you put into the course is what you'll get out of the course. And we have had it said many times from past students that they're sorry that the course wasn't twice as long, or that they, you know, that they didn't really want to. And that is to do with the friendships that they formed, as well as the experience that they've had in our courses. But that peer-to-peer learning and that networking, I did a similar course to this, and there's still a very active WhatsApp group, you know, a year and a half later. So absolutely, I do. For me personally, it's confidence boosting as well. That's all the questions we have for now. If there are any more, do pop them in the next minute or two. Otherwise, I have popped into the chat there the link to the Tangent website that goes into the course page. It goes into more detail on the course. There's a course brochure there. There is, under course times and locations, there's a timetable that will tell you exactly the days you'd need to be in the Tangent space on the Trinity campus and so on. So do have a look at all of that information. As I say, there's an FAQ there as well. If you have any further questions, my number again, it's 087, or sorry, it's 086 032 0487. But do email springboard@tcd.ie and I will get back to you right away. But there is a whole host of information there as well if you're on the fence or if you have any queries as you're going through your application. It does take a while to process those applications, and we do want to get to them as soon as possible. So it's in everybody's best interest to upload those documents straight away. Even if you only have 2 or 3 to hand now, upload what you have, and then as you get another document, upload that, so that at least we can be seeing that you're on the system, we can register your interest, and we can help you get across the line with those remaining documents if needs be. We have no more. Oh, another question there. Great, thank you. When would we be likely to hear the result of our application? Well, I can answer that one. So the application closing date is the 27th, as I said, of this month. It does take quite a while, so it will be approximately 3 weeks-ish after that date that I will be letting people know. And that's because all applications go through our selection committee, and there's a whole assessment process, but we try to turn them around as quickly as possible, but we can be reviewing them, as they come in. So that's why we do encourage early application, but about approximately 3 weeks after the closing date. And you're very welcome to one of our attendees there who said thanks very much. Great. Well, we'll leave it there unless there's any more questions. Thank you so much for taking the time to join us this evening. A big thank you to Vicky McAvoy and to Jackie Breen and to Hazel for pulling this evening together. With this, as I say, this is recorded, so we will have it again if other applicants are interested. And thank you. Thanks for your time. So best of luck with your applications, and we very much look forward to receiving them.